I'm Rising is there, and I'm a well-being coach with a focus on thoughts and thoughts creating your reality. And I help people enhance their lives one thought at a time. I'm also an author, a podcast host. I do the power of balance on Podbean, and I'm a mental health advocate as well. This series that we're doing is called Mental Balance is a Juggling Act. It's based on my book of a similar title. The book is called Balance is a Juggling Act, How to Start a Revolution for a Change in Thought. And we're in phase two of the book, which is self-observation. Phase one is awareness. Phase three is self-encounter. And phase four is conscious living. So welcome into the room. Today we are talking about day 15 in the book. The book has 40 mental well-being concepts, and uh, today we're at day 15. Be aware of the power of your I am statements. So if you have any questions, comments, you want to add into the conversation, feel free to raise your hand and come up to the stage. We're happy to have you share your experience or to add your knowledge as well. Uh, so let's get started. The mental balance that leads to improving the quality of our life often starts with reframing or reshaping the way that we look at ourselves and the way that we look at the world. And when we use the thoughts or the words placed after I am with power, it helps us to fuel our unique abilities. It helps us to generate more fully the gifts that we have to give to the world. And this is totally not just positive thinking. It is actually coloring in your life experience with energized thought. And energized thought is thoughts that actually help you to feel better and expand versus something that depletes you, right? There are always ways to shift perspectives on an I am statement that is going to make us contract and feel small versus expanding our being. So, for example, you might have what I call low potential thought. And a low potential thought is a thought that detracts from what you desire. Um, for example, you might say, I am a failure. And you know that it's a low potential thought because of the way that you feel. If you feel sadness, for example, if you say, I am a failure, you could feel sadness. It could show up in your body as fatigue or exhaustion, or even just poor posture. And we start to act that out in different ways, such as becoming socially isolated, or we end up missing valuable time with our friends and family because we feel like we're a failure, and so we don't want to be around people who we think will look at us as a failure because they're able to subconsciously pick up on the frequency of isolation that we've generated, and so they won't they we actually get to live out what we are feeling because we're all energetically connected, and people will literally leave you alone because your thoughts attract the feelings and people and situations in your life. So today we're talking about be aware of the power of your I am statements, because in the same situation, we could align with a higher potential thought, which is one that expands us and takes us along the path of our desires, thoughts that are proponents of what we really want, with a thought shift to say something like, I have not yet achieved my goal. I am worthy of success. And with some assessment and redirection, I will realign. Or even this thought will lead, This thought will lead to feelings of confidence and clarity, and it'll show up in your physical body as alertness and being prepared to move forward. And then others who might be able to help you in some way will energetically pick up on that frequency, and you'll find those who are willing to work with you and collaborate with you. And so I wanted to take this time to kind of go through some energizing statements, I am statements, and then have you join in as well and do your own energizing statements or affirmations, because emotions attract similar emotions that are in harmony and align with that frequency. So when you when you say, you know, I feel sick, even, then you're going to align with experiences that deplete your energy, because sickness is an energy um, of contraction and a lower frequency. So you'll continue to align with that. And so we do affirmations to affirm who we are, or to affirm I am and what we are doing. And affirming what I'm doing right now is becomes your now existence. And we focus on statements that make us feel more energized. So I'm going to give an example. And again, I hope people will chime in with their own. Um, So I am a cosmic being going through life, living my purpose. I am happy. I am worthy. I am so loved. I am clear. I am prosperous. I am strong. I am flexible. I am balanced. And that makes me think of the reel that you see on IG, the one that goes energy, 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 energy. And all of that helps us to energize our very being. So if there is any energy that you'd like to call into your life, that you would like to share with us through I am statements, I invite you to join us to come up on the stage and to share. Anybody? Welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Risa. How are
I'm
you?
doing great. How are you?
I am well. I am grateful and um, I am energized. I am complete. I am whole. I am valued.
Nice.
I am a great mom. I am vital, vibrant, um, and uh, I am healthy. I am wealthy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that. Yes, I am. And it matters what you put after I am, whether it's positive or negative. The energy is going to take you in that direction, because it is saying that is what you want to manifest. So, Lexis, welcome to the stage. Thanks for joining.
Hello, hello. Thank you for creating the room. Sorry, that's my godson you hear.
That's fine.
I would say I am bold.
Mm.
I am loved. I am creative. I am grounded. I am a manifester. I am grateful. I am fulfilled. I am blessed. I am patient. Um, I am in alignment, or I am aligned. Sorry. Um, I am abundant, or I attract abundance. Um,
I am abundance.
yes, I am abundance. There we go. Um, I am I am wise.
Mhm.
I am I am brilliant.
Does
um
that feel good?
oh yeah. I make affirmation candles. So I know the power of the I am and how it does impact, because it's a vibration, and the minute those I am words, those are your words, it's for you. So yeah, I do them daily. So thank you for creating a room where that's like, you know, something really important.
Yes. So, just for a quick reset, we are talking about the book Balance is a Juggling Act: How to Start a Mental Revolution for a Change in Thought. And we're currently on day 15 of the 40 concepts. Be aware of the power of your I am statements. And we just did an exercise around affirming our I am statements. So if there's anyone else who would like to join and come up and share theirs as well, because there's power in sharing, and definitely uh, power, right? When one or more come together, that's where God is, that's where the power is. Mary said, I am a work in progress. And yes, we are all works in progress. And remembering that life is a journey and not a destination is another key component of being able to be content and feel fulfilled. Wishby, thanks for joining.
Wholeness, wholeness, everybody. Excuse the voice. Wholeness, everyone.
Wholeness. So I have one more exercise. So if you have a pen, pencil is good. Do it on your phone. This is another I am exercise, and then I'm going to read the concept from the book for day 15. So first, write down 10 things that you love, things that are perfect or you consider perfect, right? Because nothing is actually perfect in the world of duality. So below, I'm going to give you some examples where you have two or more things, and just choose one for yourself. So we have the stars, the full moon, the ocean, the sunrise, the sunset, nature, flowers, for example, mountains, walking in the woods, gardening, sleeping in on a rainy day, music, dancing, singing, reading, all things that feel good, right? Travel, vacation, flying, or anything else that in your life that you love. Just don't make it a person. And then I want you to say that the 10 things that you wrote down for yourself, and if you can do this each night, and then take that thing and then say, I am the stars, I am the moon, I am the water. These are the examples, right? I am the sunset, I am the flowers, I am the mountains, I am music, I am dancing, I am reading, I am travel, and then add your name at the end. And thereby you are encompassing yourself and your being and adding that energy of these things that you feel are perfect and including yourself in that perfection. So, it's an exercise that you can do now if you'd like to, or you can do later. Um, It's a great exercise to do on a consistent basis just to boost and expand your own self energy. So I'm going
I
to,
I love that, because sometimes we don't do that. We don't think of ourselves as this beautiful thing, as this amazing thing, and when we are actually the most amazing of it all, right?
creation.
And
Yes,
so and so to actually do that and is and once I think once you get used to doing it, it will seem like, well, of course,
right.
um, so that's that's the key, because sometimes, like, when we are not used to doing something, it will seem gauche, or it will seem like, well, I'm not as beautiful as the flower. But when you are, comparing yourself to sunset and things like that is amazingly beautiful. And I think it gives one an appreciation for how just not just how beautiful you are, but how special you are and how unique you are as well. So yeah, wholeness.
That's wholeness. Thank you. That is so true. Um, and so I'm going to read from the book, Balance is a Juggling Act, How to Start a Mental Revolution for a Change of Thought. It's available on Amazon, and I'll pin a link in a moment. Be aware of the power of your I am statements. At the root of mental balancing techniques is the act of valuing your self worth. How you speak to yourself is a key indicator of self esteem. Repeated self talk shapes your identity. You orally express this through the words that you place after I am. Thank you. What you put after I am has the building power to fuel your confidence and ambition. Conversely, it also has the destroying power to halt desire in its infancy and make you feel inadequate and anxious. Whether used to build or destroy, stating I am will resonate with more of the same energy in your life. Used with power, the statement I am helps you discover unique abilities. This is not just positive thinking, it is coloring future experiences with expectation based on knowing how powerful you are. A simple statement such as I am weak can be replaced with I am not yet strong enough or I am weak right now. This shifts you from lacking momentum to building momentum. Subtle shifts yield the most on the scale of mental well being. Today, catch what you state after I am and make any adjustments needed to healthily shift the emotions that follow the statement. Okay, so that is day 15. Where I am. Jennifer said, I am chocolate. Great feeling. And Mary said, or reframing the weakness for stillness, a place of reflection. Yes.
Right, Raisa, I just did my list of 10. That was a really surprisingly fun exercise.
Okay, go
And
for
then
it,
how
Jen.
you finish it is you say, I am all those things, and then you finish it with I am Jennifer, or our own
Yes.
name. Okay.
Your first and your last name. Say the whole thing.
Oh, the whole thing. I love
Yes.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, add your middle name too if you really want to pinpoint that energy that you came into the world with. Include it all. So, is there anything that anyone else would like to add to I am? My intention for today was to go through two of the mental well being concepts. Be aware of the power of your I am statements, and also the next one for day 16 is the most dangerous battlefield is an unfocused mind. And I also wanted to reiterate why we do this, why we are working on this shift in our thought. that creates a revolution for a change in thought. And it's basically because since thoughts create our reality, why wouldn't we spend more time being focused on what our thoughts are? I mean, if that is the foundation from which we're building, we should definitely be more introspective and more focused around the creation of those thoughts. So the quality and the clarity of our thoughts is also dependent on our mental state. So when you are feeling, let's say, fearful, your thoughts are going to be fearful because that's the energy you're attracting. You'll also attract fearful experiences into your life. And it's just so crazy that the topic of mental health is a societal taboo. It's not taught by our parents generally. They don't teach us of mental health. We go to school and they don't teach us about mental health with our thoughts as the basis of mental health. And when you go to the doctor and get your physical exam or any type of exam for that matter, nobody's asking you about your mental health. And so, as a society, we don't acknowledge the value of well-being balance, mental well balance as our true source of wealth. Because you can be ill, have a physical disability, and as long as your mental health is strong and balanced, you can still have a great quality of life because your perspective is always going to be about expansion and reaching for greater experiences in life that are fulfilling. And that's not to say that things are always going to be good and nice and happy. No, it's saying that the experiences that you do go through, even that illness or disability, is going to be one that is a foundation from where you're able to build and expand because that is your focus of your awareness and your thoughts centered around expansion and growth will bring you situations that bring you expansion and growth. And so that actually takes us right into the next topic, which is the most dangerous battlefield is an unfocused mind, day 16 in the book.
So to add here, and as we were talking about thoughts, and it came into my thoughts, right? Like that, how why it's so important to observe your thoughts when you are in certain situations, because sometimes like you let the thoughts run away and then you think that's who I am, and
Yeah.
the realization is that when you start to observe your thoughts is that they are not, and you're saying that's not, they come in and they come out based on, again, what situation you're in. So if you observe them, then you'll realize when they come in and how they come in, who they come in with, right?
What time,
What time,
who's
everything,
around, all of that.
who's around, and so that you are able to I for me, I call it the battle, because sometimes I'll just be telling myself to shut up. Everything
Yeah.
is time
And
to do
it's crazy because the next topic is actually the most dangerous battlefield is an unfocused mind. And
it.
that's why it's called a battlefield.
Mhm.
When we start to identify as our thoughts instead of energies that are coming to us, that we are attracting to us based on the frequency that we're emitting, then it can become a battlefield. So let's think about more on what you were saying, which be if we think of ourselves as a powerful magnet, because actually that's what we are, and we are vibrational beings in a vibrational universe where we're continuously sending out a vibrational frequency because everything is energy and vibration with the electromagnetic waves that are produced by our thoughts, and the universe is just responding to that, just like in the example I'll use of a tuning fork, right? So if there's a tuning fork, and it's vibrating at a frequency, and there's another one that's near enough to catch the wave of that frequency, it's also going to begin to vibrate at the same frequency as the first one. And together they vibrate even more powerfully at a louder tone. And last week we had the discussion around emotions that vibrate at similar frequencies, and when they catch the wave, they we get experiences that vibrate with that frequency. So for example, if you're angry, other emotions that are in that range of frequency could be annoyance or rage, um, and then we'll find ourselves having more experiences that will fall within that range of frequency. So, anger, well, we'll start with annoyance, which is the mildest, and then uh, midway is anger, and at the extreme is rage. The same on the flip side. Right? If you are feeling joyful, you'll attract experiences that range from things that are serene all the way to things that will take you to a level of ecstasy and bliss.
You know, it's so funny you said annoyance. Annoyance was the mildest one. I find annoyance to be annoying.
Annoyance is annoying.
Annoying. I,
Definitely.
I remember, to me, being annoyed at being annoyed is very annoying.
Can I tell you,
So,
Witch Bee, because of being
sure.
on Clubhouse with you and hearing you speak about the variations of anger, including, being irritated and annoyed, I I write it out so much easier now because I used to really judge myself for um, being irritated, or annoyed. And now I'm like, what is it telling me? Or, I'm more
Right. What's
like
the
gentle,
message?
more curious, or I just know myself and try to like write it out like a wave, So just wanted to pop that in there. I've been meaning to tell you that for a while.
Every emotion has a message, each and every one of them. And it's designed to give us the energy to do something about what we're feeling, especially the denser emotions of fear, anxiety, anger, etc. They all help us um, to get the message that the emotion is giving us. For fear, for example, it's basically I don't know, what to do in this situation, and I need to figure it out. And for us to look at fear in that way so that we can transmute that energy instead of being stuck into fight, flight, or freeze, it allows us to move through and go to the next level. And it's just a different way of looking at what emotions are and how they were designed to help us move through life. They're tools designed to help us and never to hinder us.
And also, to me, one of the things that I started examining is the fact that emotions are you know, is the way we communicate. Meaning, emotions are the way I communicate to myself.
Mhm.
Because sometimes people are like, well, what does the body feel like? What does the world feel like? What is the um what is this that I'm in? Like, when you're asking that, the who am I question, even, but the your who am I question is being answered by all of these. And so gauging, how it is that you're feeling, and the who, what, when, where, is very important, because sometimes we just fall into the emotion, without questioning, like, where is this coming from? Who is this coming from? How is this coming from at me? Like, and especially where physically it is in my body, so that
Yes.
I can, basically recalibrate and understand this is a signal being sent to me, telling me, hey, there's either something wrong, there's something I should be looking at, there's something I need to pay attention to, so that you start to look at the emotion as a communication, like, like I said, annoyance, right? Is very annoying, Well, think about when something annoys you. It's really gnawing at you. It really is pulling you at your attention here. So when you're annoyed, this is actually telling you, hey, here's a warning. This is like a really beginning warning. And so if you become very familiar with your senses and be like, oh, okay, if I start to feel annoyance, I don't need to get to anger. Once
Right.
I know here's that feeling of annoyance, I better pay attention who, what, when, where, how, so that I don't need to go all the way to that 100 where I'm like at rage, you know. And so I think it's important to start to understand this is how we communicate to ourselves. This is how we calibrate, and this is how we are telling ourselves information about our environment, about our reaction to things, places, people, and stuff and
Mhm.
whatnot. Yeah, wholeness.
So we came here to this planet to feel, and our feelings and emotions are our guides, and that's the same with the higher emotions too. Uh, well, yeah, we'll call them higher emotions: love, joy, peace, happiness. When we're feeling those things, even contentment, we know that we're on the right path. And when we're feeling fear, depression, etc., it's it. We know that we need to recalibrate. So, for the most dangerous battlefield, being an unfocused mind, our physical experience is always a direct correlation to our predominant thought patterns, right? And if we aren't clear about our intentions, our goals, the direction that we're moving in, then that's going to show up too as fuzziness in our life experience. And the outcomes that we have, the experiences that we are having on a daily basis, are variations of our intentions. And when we're not able to be focused, as I said, it's probably not going to show up in the means that you would like it to. So if our awareness is kind of like just racing through the mind all day long, and then our energy is also going to be flowing all over the place. And as we know, where the mind goes, energy flows, or where the mind goes, awareness flows. And because access to almost anything, right? It's just a click away on the computer, on our phone. Our our attention span is really sucky, right? And if you think about it, how often are you going through life in partial attention mode? At any point in the day, are you really paying attention and giving focused energy to what it is that you want? Or are you being distracted by all kinds of things, whether it's the media, text, a ping, um, other people, and their interests versus what it is that you need to be focused on? We're out in crazy traffic. There's email that's coming in. Like, on a given day, I could get 300 emails, and I'm retired. Like, why do I have all these emails and they're not even work email related? And when I was working, I could get 500 work related emails in a day, just coming from all over the place. So all of these things are pulling on our attention, and therefore our focused mind is lacking. Our ability to focus our mind is really suffering. So while we are aware that whatever we spend most of our conscious and our unconscious time thinking about, it grows in our reality, and that this works for both the positive as well as the negative, we still don't focus in. It's crazy, right? There was a study by a doctor named Dr. Pillay, and he found that the focused mind processes information at 6 bits per second, and the unfocused mind processes information at 11 bits per second. And that's just such a massive slowdown. And we know that it slows down because when you take your attention off of something, we break the momentum and therefore have to start over. So we need to get rid of the myth that multitasking makes you more efficient when it actually halts the momentum and the energy buildup, and you have to start all over again when you return to a task. And something that I personally learned about focus through being burnt out from too much multitasking is that my ability to make good choices actually start to degrade after long periods of um, over multitasking, working too many hours, burning the candle at both ends, and having to make so many concentrated decisions that were, I'll put in air quotes, important. um, and our decision making resources get depleted like anything else can get depleted when it's overused, and our willpower starts to diminish as well as we continue to make decisions, and even the small decisions like what I'm going to eat for dinner, then those start to be difficult decisions as well. And then there's another aspect of an unfocused mind, and that's when there's a conflict between the mind and the heart. And I'm not talking about the physical heart that pumps the blood, but the spiritual heart, where we feel this whole spectrum of emotions that we were gifted with by Source, from love, happiness, peace, to sorrow, hate, depression, and fear. And this is the heart that's the divine within us. And from this heart, from our spiritual heart, we feel what to do. As Wizzy was saying earlier, this is where that divine guidance comes from. And we receive the intuition or the knowing to solve a problem or figure out what next step to take. And we either we choose to listen or to ignore. Like, for example, if we're on a job and we say that we hate the job and we stay at the job that we hate, then we start saying things like, I don't want to work here, I hate this job. And our heart is saying, leave the job and do something that you love. Leave the job and do what you are uniquely here on the planet to do. And a lot of times we'll just ignore that and continue to do that job. And of course we're going to begin attracting more and more feeling of discomfort from being on the job, because we are saying, I don't want to work here, I hate this job. And our focus is on what we don't want instead of what we do want. And so we have to ask ourselves some questions. For example, what am I focusing on, and why am I focusing on that which I do not desire when I know that it's not going to give me the results that I want? Is the focus that you have empowering, expanding, or disempowering? It's causing you to contract. And if it's not what you want, you have to change it to what we do want. And and I think it's helpful to not think about changing your thoughts, but to use images of what you do want and align with the feelings of what you want, so that it's easier to get to, because it can be difficult to just and instantly try to change your thoughts, right? We have the expression, change your thoughts, change your life. Yes, that's absolutely true. But then how do you change your thoughts? How do you change your focus? And you know there are a lot of ways to get there, but one is to not try to have laser focus and be totally concentrated on the goal only itself, to be a little less specific. So instead of being a pinpointed laser, you want to be like a camera lens so that you're seeing the goal and it is clear right before you. No matter what's going on around you, you keep what you like to focus on in focus, and at the same time you are seeing other things in the peripheral, you're seeing other things in the environment, so that you can see your desire and see those other things, and in general just focus the majority of your attention on the the bigger picture and the things that you do want to come out of it. So when the heart and the mind are in conflict, we are definitely going to experience inner turmoil. And my experience has always been that I make the best decisions coming from my spiritual heart, because it is tuned into the universe and it generates decisions, intuition, etc., from a place of balance and love. And when we're able to, if we can not have one or the other, the mind versus the heart. If we can combine them, like that rationale that comes from the mind, is it likes to gather data and have evidence, and it's looking at things that are based on the past, bringing information to the present so that we can project the future. The It's the best of both worlds when we're able to combine the two.
And for me, like, I, because of the practices that I do, it's really about bringing in the enteric brain, especially in practice and getting used to that. Let me see this. I'm gonna butcher the Chinese name. So, in this book that I usually follow, and it's like the about self cultivation, and the idea is to bring is to understand, like, we have three minds within the body, and they're all made out of the same material. We have the mind in the upper, the upper mind in the brain, mind in the heart, and then the mind in the lower gut area. And they are all interconnected. And when we want to make a decision, or when we want to think, we want to be able to use all three minds. And the idea is, like, whatever thoughts. So, like, before we were saying about, like, unfocused mind. Here's the thoughts out there. Um, they're all over the place, right? And so you bring those thoughts down. And this is, of course, a meditative practice. And what you're doing is to say, like, whatever the thought is, it doesn't matter. We're not judging our thoughts to mean anything. We're not saying this thought is good and this thought is bad. We're just saying, okay, whatever that thought is, we're going to bring it all the way down, like in a spiraling motion, to your enteric brain, which is I would say about 3 inches below your navel, like, right. So you could say, if you see where your navel is, your break in the middle would be like that center area. It's going to include your gut, your small intestine, and part of your large intestine as well. And they're made out of the same brain tissue material. Huge connection between your enteric brain and your and the brain in the upper mind. So in understanding how the body works is very important here, so that whatever that thought is, you bring it down. And when you bring it down, you'll find, like, this, you'll be using your digestive system to digest the information. Because sometimes, like, when we just leave the thoughts and don't digest it, so therefore when you leave the thoughts up there in the upper mind, it's still in question form. While if you bring it into the enteric mind, you're able to digest and then spit out, like, your result. And once that happens, because it's dealing with the small intestine, it sends it to the heart. So meaning, like, large intestine, why the two intestine, large intestine, if it doesn't make sense, bullshit, it goes down cold. get it. And if it does make sense, small intestine goes into the heart, and what the heart now does with its, with its brain is to whatever that confoundment is, because the universe has a lot of things that are paradox. Again, there's no right or wrong. So but the brain is always trying to say yes, no, give me a yes, give me a no,
Mhm.
and there is no yes and no. So the heart is able to come out with the answer without being confounded by the paradox of it all, and it resolves the paradox. So understanding how it is that we process is very important, and figure out what your own process is, and so that you're able to entrain yourself to do this, in that, in whatever the situation is. And you'll find sometimes when you in a, especially when you're troubled, and when you're like and something is worrying you, if you do this, it will really resolve itself in no moment, because you're able to take in the information, digest it, send it to the heart, and then the confoundment of it all just gets resolved by the power of love of the heart. So very, very, I think, important to do this with almost everything. Yeah, whole.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. It just really guides us on, how to manage ourselves. And mastery of ourselves is, well, I'll say this differently. Mental health and mental balance is self mastery. They're one and the same. And there's, of course, other tools that we can use too to help us to make decisions and to get to a greater focus. And one of the things that I do is flip a coin. And flipping the coin is allowing yourself, your higher self, to say, help me make this decision and give me an answer. I'll flip a coin in my hand, and before I look at it, I think about, well, how do I feel? If it says yes, how I feel. If it's going to be no, how I feel. And asking yourself how you feel about the outcome is even more important than actually uncovering your hand and looking at the coin and seeing whether it's heads or tails, because how you feel is your guidance factor. Feelings and emotions are your guidance. And another tool is using kinesiology, which is the study of the anatomy, physiology, and mechanics of body movement using muscle response testing. And one simple way to do that is to put your index finger and your thumb together, and then interlock the other index finger and thumb together and try to pull them apart. And you can determine what your yes or no answer would be. So, for example, you know your name and you say, my name is Rice and Nazaire. And if I'm able to pull it apart, then I know that that's my no. And I hope you're able to visualize this the interlocking fingers and doing the testing. If
like
you're,
like a chain link.
yes, like a
Mm-hmm.
chain link. And so if I ask the question, should I go to this event tonight, and I'm not able to pull it apart, then the answer is yes. If I ask, my name is Rice and is there, and when I try to pull it apart and it doesn't come apart, then that's my yes. Um, if it does come apart, when you pull on your chained fingers, then that's your no. So it's your body, your inner being, you're allowing it to answer questions for you. If there's anybody here who's into kinesiology and practices kinesiology who wants to add with this, happy to have you come to the stage. Okay. So I'm going to read day 16 from Balance is a Juggling Act, How to Start a Mental Revolution for Changing Thought. And it says, who is the enemy on your self-created battlefield? Your enemy is your own doubt. Doubt that you can be good enough, happy enough, healthy enough, or abundant enough. When we have doubts about our creator given abilities, uncertainty detracts from our ability to focus. Conversely, certainty is our greatest ally for centered focus. In addition to doubt, there are distractions lurking everywhere. Technology, multitasking, and information overload are the primary culprits that exhaust your attentive energy. Look at how distractions are negatively affecting your life. Another form of being emotionally unfocused is doing things that cause a conflict between the mind and the heart. This internal conflict causes release of stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline that negatively affect blood pressure and heart rate. Consciously making a connection with your heart to ask what you should do and then visually syncing your heart and brain will get you back in focus. Focus is a superpower we all have under our cape, just waiting to be wielded. We just need to look at how and when we get distracted, doubt, or depart from our heart's intention, and then bring our mind back to its present purpose. Today, end the battle going on in your unfocused mind as it arises. Decide where you want to focus, then allow your thoughts to take you there. So again, the book is divided into 40 concepts. We're up to day 16. Each day you read the concept and then practice it throughout the day. And in the morning, you start off with journaling what your thoughts are about what you've read in the concept and where that takes you in your mind. And then in the evening, after you had the experience throughout the day of actually looking at this concept, you'll jot down a summary of your experience and the insight that you gained throughout the day. So next,
Wow. Oh, sorry,
oh, go
Raisa.
ahead. No, go ahead,
I
Jennifer.
just wanted, when you read that first few sentences, I just was like, wow, like right out the gate. There's like, that's what it is. Wow. I am seriously uh, so grateful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for joining and sharing your experience as well. So next week, we do give your inner critic a hug and potentially go on to day 18. Resistance to what is causes emotional distress. You can get the book on Amazon and follow along with us. Any other questions or comments? I see there's been some chat going on here.
Yeah. Um, no, no, I don't have any question on my part, but I actually um, really enjoyed today. Thanks, Desiree. You know, for me, as a student of Krista Dejimerti, I spent, I don't know, like a good year just like, observing the mind. And I was gifted with my brother, his CD and his work, and I just delve into it like a mad woman. um, and so this part I love, because I think once you start to observe your own self and your own mind and see how it is that your work, as how I work, how it is I process things, and so that, that whole idea of crazy becomes something that, it's not, and you really truly become your own partner in crime, really, right? You because you can see your processes from how things develop and go into your feelings, and it becomes an embracing of your own feelings in a way, so that you're not afraid of like your own emotions or be overwhelmed by them, and know, okay, this is what this means, and this is a warning, and this is how I communicate with myself, and even, like you say, it- giving yourself time for the ability to focus, and so that you're not, however it is that you are. Because for me, like, I am a multitasker, and at first, that this whole idea was like being multitask is bad, being multitasker is bad, and then realize how I can work with it and even slow down and be okay within and actually realize they were, although I'm a multitasker, I also spend a lot of time not doing anything so that I can multitask. And that, in a way, I was going back and forth between the two, and not understanding that I was only describing myself as one, or as one of them. And so, so very important in understanding like what focus is, how to hone in yourself and train and really train yourself, so that you're not thinking that others are who are in charge of you, or you have no power over yourself, or no power over your own emotions. So, thank you again for today, wholeness.
And thank you. And, just a reminder, examine your thoughts and determine, are they detractors or advocators? And it's all guidance for you. Thank you for joining, everyone. I hope that you will join me next Thursday and Thursdays at 3 as we continue with this series and go through the full 40 concepts. Actually, using this material to develop an online course. So the replays are available now, but they will not be available forever. So take advantage and go back and look at, listen to previous sessions. Uh, Follow the room. You can follow Abundance Portals. If you've heard anything from anyone or observed anyone else in the room whom you found interesting, please follow them as well. We are a human family, and we are all here supporting each other in one way or another. Some people help by showing us what we don't want, and others help by showing us what we do want. Yeah, so if we've heard things that resonate, please follow, purchase the book, follow Widgeby and Abundance Portals. Thank you for joining.
Wholeness, Raisa, thank you.
This room will be ending in 5, 4, 3,
Wholeness.
2, 1. Wholeness.